Hi, my name is Dan Paulson, and welcome to video 4, where I am taking the Gospel of Thomas and doing the best using my interpretation, a discovered process where it plays out in the psyche, to convert all of the Gospel of Thomas sayings into plain language, so that they're no longer secret sayings, but they are revealed. How does that sound? This is something we're supposed to do together in a group thousands of years ago, but we don't have that option now, so we're doing it online. Unfortunately, that's what it is. And it can get other attention. I get people that are not okay with interpreting Jesus. They don't like it to become mentally interactive. So I'll forewarn you, that's what I'm doing here. I treat Jesus as if he is a guru from antiquity. I know that the carrying case became a religious one for the masses, but if you extract from that, I find that Buddha, Jesus, Lao Tzu, many others taught a core teaching. And that's what the interpretation gets to. If everybody knows the idea of karma, right? Somehow there's this idea of some sort of reciprocity through one's actions. And that is cause and effect. Karma is cause and effect. What is the measure you mete unto others will be likewise meted unto you. It is the same teaching at the core, held in different ways. That's what we have to look for. Okay, what do we walk away with the core lesson in those two? Cause and effect. They're both teaching cause and effect. We have to get to the core. Well, that's how I'm interpreting. If that interests you, welcome. We left off on verse 67, so we'll pick up on verse 68 in this video. I'll post a link below to the first ones, and let's just go ahead and get right into the interpretation. 68. Jesus said, "Blessed are you when you are hated and persecuted. Wherever you have been persecuted, they will find no place." And just to reiterate what I have going on here, what is in black right there is the original verse themselves. The green are my notes that I'm putting in to describe what I see in there, how the analogs shift and how it works in the psyche. And then the red in 68 is my plain language version of the original black verse up there. So, okay, let me read it again. Jesus said, "Blessed are you when you are hated and persecuted. Wherever you have been persecuted, they will find no place." And then I've got here, resist the urge to make these physical interpretations. We are hated and become persecuted when we turn inward to face the demons we carry. Blessed is because that is a good thing to do. We are facing what we hate. What we hold in persecution are rather in our hurt or negative emotional memories. When we face them, when we persecute them, they will be gone. We bring them into the light so they cease being darkness. This is like in the Bible, in the canonical Bible, the blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. That's from the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew. Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. This means mourning about your own issues that you carry. We know that that doesn't work in the physical world. You might have death and destruction, war, famine. Will mourning comfort you? If you have all those things, no, it doesn't work. And the psyche is where it works. But then the analog shift. Mourning means resolving the issues. They will be comforted. Okay, now you see how I'm interpreting this and how they would work in the psyche that way. So I've reworded that to say, blessed are you when you turn inward to face what you hate. Wherever you face those memories, they will cease to hurt. Let's read the first one and that one right after it. Blessed are you when you are hated and persecuted. Blessed are you when turned inward to face what you hate. Wherever you have been persecuted, they will find no place. Wherever you face those memories, they will cease to hurt. Okay, see that? Then you feel better. It's a spiritual healing process, but it's based in our bundle of memories, I guess I would call it, yeah. All right, 69, Jesus said, "Blessed are they who have been persecuted within themselves." There we go. See, it feeds from the last one. This one tells us within ourselves. It is they who have truly come to know the Father. Remember, the Father is the higher awareness. Blessed are the hungry, for the belly of him who desires will be filled. So that's a different sounding one. That one is that one's not about healing. That's about desiring something different. So similar to the first part of the previous verse, it further specifies it's an inward persecution by saying within themselves. The Father is the higher self. We use that to heal our emotional hurt and connections to memories that we cycle around. Hungry means we desire this knowledge. It's almost as if we want it, we start accessing the knowledge. If we stretch our minds looking for it, desire it, we really want to know, it emerges in a day or so. We make the changes by desiring to. As I read these verses, and I don't understand them, but the mind stretches and you try. It starts coming online. You start figuring it out. It's almost as if your brain's growing the direction you want it to grow. But it's not there to begin with, but it gets there. So, all right, as we continue, if you're hungry, if you're the belly of him who desires will be filled. That's what that means right there. This is a spiritual hunger, not physical hunger. We know that's not true, huh? That's a homeless person. Hey, do you desire food? You hungry? Oh, good. You're going to be filled. Your belly will be filled. Yeah, meanwhile, they're starving. This is not physical. We have to interpret these. Okay, so I said, blessed are those who have resolved their inner memories. They will know and experience the higher self. And blessed are those with the desire to know and do this. It will unfold. Jesus said, that which you have will save you if you bring it forth from yourself. That which you do not have within you will kill you if you do not have it within you. Okay, save, kill, bring forth. What do we got to we got to figure some things out here. Saved is the opposite of kill, and these also mean aware and non-aware. We're talking spiritual. You can say you're dead. That means I'm not spiritually awake. They were killed. That means I was once spiritually awake when I was a kid, but then I became exposed to life and I died along the way, and I need a rebirth. They're using terms like that in a way like that. They're kind of harsh, but we have to know that they're not literal, that they mean spiritual. That which you have will save you if you bring it forth within yourselves. Okay, let me continue reading on. Saved is opposite of kill, and these also mean aware and non-aware, sleeping or awake. You already have the higher self in your mind. You must bring it out. Everyone has this. We emerge from it, but are living through our memories and not the higher self. The higher self is used to look at memories with the conscious experience in place for emotional healing. That which you have within you will save you if you bring it forth from within yourself. That which you do not have within you will kill you if you do not have it within you. What we lack causes unaware life when it isn't there. Okay, this can't be the higher self. We have the higher self within us. We all have that. Not being aware. Personality type, probably. Knowledge of how to interact with the material for healing. All are okay, but knowledge is the most fundamental. Turning inward is needed. Just personality type won't cut it without the knowledge and the drive. Okay, let me read it again. Jesus said that which you have will save you if you bring it forth from within yourselves. That which you do not have will kill you if you do not have it within you. I've reworded to say, we must learn to bring out our higher being for mental and physical or spiritual freedom. If we do not turn inward with the correct knowledge, we will not awaken or live to become free of the bondage of hurt memories. 71. Jesus said, I will destroy this house, and no one will be able to build it. It became fragmentary right there. You see the brackets. We can probably figure that one out, and no one will be able to build it back up or something like that. Sounds about right. Jesus is always the called person on the inner path, so that's us. We're talking to ourselves, of the higher self. It can be referred to as Father sometimes. It's going to vary. You have to interpret each verse. Their secret, they're going to use different ways of carrying the same meaning within the material, not just cross cultures. Okay, Jesus is always the called person on the inner path, or the Buddha, or the Lao Tzu, the sage, the guru, the hero of the journey. The house is the bundle of memories, and there are emotions that we experience the quality of life through. That is our house. We wish to destroy our early self, our first house. No one will be able to rebuild it like it was, is what I've got there, perhaps. Like a global flood destruction analog story component where we are the earth, not just the house. So I shall destroy this house. I will destroy my house. I will destroy my past self, and it will not be built back up, I would say. 72. A man said to him, tell my brothers to divide my father's possessions with me. He said to him, O man, who has made me a divider? He turned to his disciples and said to them, I am not a divider, am I? Okay, we're going to see something here in these verses very commonly, and that's a transition from a physical question to a spiritual answer. So here we have that happening. Tell my brothers to divide my father's possessions with me. Doesn't quite play out in the mental hierarchy. What would be the real lesson is at the end, the dividing. He said to them, O man, who has made me a divider? He turned to his disciples and said to them, I am not a divider, am I? Okay, the last line is the true lesson in this verse. The first part does not square with the mental hierarchy, man and his brothers, so is not a lesson about the psyche. It's a setup question to create a reason for the cryptic answer. I am not a divider. We become divided throughout life, and that is our problem. Our inner memories do not square with what we wish to feel, and so we live hurt. Jesus, as the guru, is our consciousness when we have decided to go after the things that divide us. It's similar to when you make the two into one and say to this mountain, move, it will move. I am not a divider, am I? When you make the two into one. I am not a divider, am I? When you make the two into one. This is us. This is our inner self. Do you ever sit there and act out and go, how come my mind is this way? How come I don't feel like I want to? How come I'm angry? How come I'm acting out? How come that's when we're divided. If you're sitting there happy and everything is just fine, you're not divided at that moment. The moments we get divided, we need to pay attention. And that's what comes up next. Jesus said the harvest is great, but the laborers are few. Beseech the Lord, therefore, to send out laborers to the harvest. Okay, harvesting is manifesting. We manifest our life, fruits emerging, reaping, etc. The effect of cause and effect. Everything that happens in our life is based in cause and effect. That's why that's so important to know those lessons. It's the result of the energy and motion and the quality of our stored memories, the energy of the emotional state of them, our actions and feelings, our thoughts. Harvesting would be picking. Therefore, laborers are our moments of self-observation where we pay attention to our emotional life experiences and resolve what comes up. This is being aware of oneself, self-observation, all the many things that come up. When we ignore them or leave them in place, they just get bigger and more invasive. So let's go back to the original verse. Jesus said, the harvest is great, but the laborers are few. Beseech the Lord, therefore, to send out laborers to the harvest. I've reworded to say, many hurt issues emerge and we don't manage them. Use the seeking mindset to pay attention to what emerges and start resolving as much as you can as soon as it comes up. Yeah. Don't just sit there and live life going, oh, God, I wish this, I wish that, I want this or that. Those are coming up all the time. Resolve them. This is telling you to don't sit and stew in that mess, that mental mess. All right, 74. He said, O Lord, there are many around the drinking trough, but there is nothing in the cistern. This is another setup. Who's he said? Oh Lord, there's something, there's a setup here. This is going to be similar to the Pharisee is like a dog in the manger. In that one, he does not eat, nor does he allow the others to eat. That's a lesson about the material itself. The Pharisee at the level of template is anybody teaching this material without interpreting the material. They're telling you it's about Jesus, it's about God, you can't understand it, all that kind of stuff. Those are the people that they don't know what is in here, and they don't teach it either. So they don't eat, nor do they allow the others to eat. The trough is downstream of and fed by a cistern. So this then isn't just an empty well, but it has an empty source. What you're trying to get from your teaching, there's not a source to feed what you need. The drinking is consuming of life. People wish to, but they cannot find relief. It does not say how the cistern is filled or why it is empty. I presume the interpretation because it fits with the theme of the overall teaching. And yeah, I believe that it's kind of the same thing, that people want to, it's like the dog won't allow the people to eat. And in this case, that is taken out, but the cistern is empty. So the source itself is empty. So yeah, Many wish to learn, drink of righteous knowledge or truth, but nothing feeds their trough. This is it's a Pharisee one, looking outward. Many people point outward. Jesus said, many are standing at the door, but it is the solitary who will enter the bridal chamber. These are going to kind of feed together. Many, that's all of the people standing at the door. We're all standing at the door. The door is turning inward to our mind, to our memories. Who's standing at the door? All you have to do is stop looking outward and turn inward. There's the door. I haven't said this. Rumi, I don't recall this. I've been standing on the lip of insanity, knocking, wanting to know answers. The door opens. I've been knocking from the inside. Yeah, we have to turn around. But it is the solitary who will enter the bridal chamber. Solitary, that means we're not divided within ourselves. The bridal chamber is our mind. We wish to enter the doorway, across a threshold into the mind. Only those who cease to be divided inside live in concert with their inner self. That is referred to as a marriage. A marriage in the spiritual world is a personal thing. That means your conscious and your subconscious work in concert. When you're sitting there not paying attention or looking at something else or getting drawn into something else, that everything is okay. When you're on autopilot, things are good. That's a marriage. If it's not, that's a divorce. They're analogs. Many means carriers of these arcs or cryptic teachings which are framed on this template. Christians and Gnostics specifically in this particular material. So if you're reading this, you're going to be reading this as a Gnostic or a Christian of that era. There was still kind of a toss-up on what Christianity was going to be at this time. So many are standing at the door, but it's a solitary who will enter the bridal chamber. So that's just telling us if we want that inner peace, we have to combine ourselves. Many seek peace. Only those who make peace with their past and cease to be divided will get there. It is mental, and it is a marriage of conscious and subconscious. And that happens by healing the hurt. Jesus said, the kingdom of the Father is like a merchant who had a consignment of merchandise and who discovered a pearl. That merchant was shrewd. He sold the merchandise and bought the pearl alone for himself. You too seek his unfailing and enduring treasure, where no moth comes near to devour and no worm destroys. Okay, first I want to look at the end here. You too seek his unfailing and enduring treasure, where no moth comes near to devour and no worm destroys. Now, I would imagine if I was living back in their time, those would be important because textiles are all handmade, robes, things like that would be tattered, ragged, dirty. You just can't go buy new robes all the time. They're handmade. Moths eating garments would be it's like, oh my God, this is so much work. That's a bad thing. And moths eat what covers you. And no worm destroys. You would have meat, food. You're trying to store things. There's no refrigeration. Worms would get in and destroy all your stuff. So these are very good analogs. But they're what? They're the physical world. They're about the physical world, where no moth comes near to devour and no worm. So you don't look for treasure out in this physical world. You're looking where? That, by implication, has to be in the mental world. Remember, we're looking for this marriage up here. So let's see. All right, so the kingdom of the Father is a pure mind state. That is our nirvana, our good flow in the Tao, our graces of God, the good life, all of that. The kingdom of the Father is like a merchant, our life experience. We are the merchant. The kingdom of the Father is our kingdom, our mind. So our mind is like we have picked up a consignment of merchandise and to discovered a pearl. What would that be? The kingdom of the Father here is the pure mind state. Consignment of merchandise is the pile of life we gather along the way. A shrewd merchant is the called one, us. We rid all but the one important thing that is connection to our higher self and nothing else. Enduring treasure is the higher self and our peaceful mental state that is not from the physical world. Moth and dust should sound familiar to Bible readers. Treasures in heaven where moth and dust do not corrupt. This means a mental peace is what we seek, not from the physical world. 76, I've reworded that to say the wise seeker knows to return to the one important mind state in life, disconnected from our mental and emotional life experiences. We need to let them go. This peace will not come from outside of you. Jesus said, "It is I who am the light which is above them all. It is I who am the all. From me did the all come forth, and unto me did the all exist. Split a piece of wood, and I am there. Lift up a stone, and you will find me there. I've got light above it all. This illustrates a description of Jesus that closely resembles the definition of the Tao from Chinese works, from the Tao Te Ching. The Tao is used but never used up, hidden but always present. It is infinite, eternal, always present within you, etc. All things, including us, emerge from the same source. This turns the table on creationist thinking that the universe was created for us. We emerge from there. We function from the way the cosmos works. And if we know how the cosmos works, and really it's cause and effect, and that energy moves in waves, and that things continue to cycle, we fit right into that. And the quality of it is based on the nature of our emotional convictions, of our experiences. So I'm going to say we exist from the all. We are of the universe. 78, Jesus said, "Why have you come out into the desert? To see a reed shaken by the wind? And to see a man clothed in fine garments like your kings and your great men? Upon them are the fine garments, and they are unable to discern the truth." Okay, this is not a spiritual teaching, but a life teaching of who to avoid. It's kind of like the Pharisee one again. When you find the truth that does not come from people in robes and fine suits like educated and elite. I think what this is trying to get to right here is that this is a personal path. When you are following people that are fancy, telling you here's the answer, follow me, you don't have the path. It's an inward path. You will not be with fancy people. You will be in your own mind. So when you find the truth, it does not come from people in robes and fine suits like the educated and the elite, not from ministers and fancy-clad clergy. They wear fine clothing but don't know the truth of this. It's the same today, even among theists and atheists, who neither can discern the truth. But because someone went to school or got a degree is meaningless. These answers are only found from within the seeker. Okay, authority comes from the material and interpreting the material, not from people telling you you can't understand it. Well, that's not authority. That's people telling you that they can't understand it. I want to say very specifically that if you follow my work and you hear me, this one goes around that gets bantered from Taoism, the first verse. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. This is it right here. They're trying to tell you what the answer is. That's not the right thing. The eternal Tao is the Tao that's taken. The path that is true is not following fancy robes or whatever, people big in the church or anything, people looking outward, anyone who is looking outward. The only way this is, when you know someone has it, they go, you know what, this is my material, and it goes up here. In fact, let me say it like this. This is the best way to understand it. If I'm looking for healing, it's long ago. I'm going to find a master on the mountain, and I begin asking him questions, and he begins telling me, this is what you need to know. As I go to him and ask him how I came about and why life is the way it is, it's here. It starts right off and it tells me from the start and what I have to do, except it's cryptic. I have to figure it out. If I do so, I find an inner path. If I grab the Dhammapada from the Buddha and start reading his verses, exact same thing. These are my gurus, teaching with a different style of language, but both of them on the same framework. What you hang on to continues to emerge in your life. I'm going to treat this the exact same way. We have to kind of dismiss ourselves from the idea of the Savior thing in order to access these verses. That is really important, and that this material is in a number of ways telling us that we have to turn inward to the mind. It's subtle, but it's there. I put wealth and fancy garments, had degrees in supernatural studies and religions. All of that do not qualify anyone to know what is true. This is an inward path, is what this is teaching us. A woman from the crowd said to him, "Blessed are the womb which bore you and the breast which nourished you." He said to her, "Blessed are those who have heard the word of the Father and have truly kept it, for there will be days when you will say, 'Blessed are the womb which has not conceived and the breast which have not given milk.'" Okay, this is another one of those, a setup. It's there's a question or a comment in the beginning that's of the physical world, and then it sets up for a spiritual answer. This transitions, like many others, from a question about the world to an answer in the spiritual or mental realm. She blesses his existence in the source. The word of the Father is from our higher self and sounds something like, let it all go. The higher self is disconnected from the emotional experiences. It exists outside of those memories. Yet we can get there. In the psyche, giving birth and nurturing something means judging something and maintaining it with an emotional charge. We seek to be devoid of those, and this is what it refers to. We do not judge instances, and we do not nurture what we judge. That's giving birth to and feeding. Blessed are those who learn to let go of what they have judged, and blessed are you when you stop judging and nurturing new judgments. Yeah, enlightenment is kind of that. I am nowhere near it. Jesus said, "He who has recognized the world has found the body, but he who has found the body is superior to the world." He is always whoever is on the path. You, consciousness. The consciousness who has recognized the world has found the body. But the consciousness who has found the body is superior to the world. Okay, this is a variant of verse 56. Let's go look at 56 for a second. Let's go review that. Jesus said, "Whoever has come to understand the world has found only a corpse, and whoever has found only a corpse is superior to the world." How did we answer that when it's a teaching verse? World is my world, or my experience in this world. Corpse is someone who lives life simply connected blindly to what is out there and becoming products of it and making it bigger. Corpse is just living blindly to life experiences, not realizing we are observing effect, the final fruits, and then we judge life based on what we see, and then we become parts of it. We are living dead when we're doing that. We all start out as a corpse and are not alive. It's a variant of 80. I put, once we understand how life works, cause and effect and cycles, we realize we have become products of and are continuing to live through our life experiences. Once we realize this, we turn a corner few ever have. Okay, back down to 80 here. Jesus said, "Who has recognized the world has found the body," corpse. "He who has found the body is superior to the world." So the world is my life experience, and recognizing it means we found ourselves dead and not awake. This is us realizing, oh, I'm a product of my thinking, for crying out loud. I am not those memories. Why am I living through them? That's when us finding ourselves dead. We find ourselves living through our experiences, not aware of that. That is the body. Once we know that, we are on our way to improving our world experience. So I've got the same answer as the other one. It's like a replicated verse, sounding a little bit different. You see how they're trying to continue to maintain the teaching in different ways. If you can't figure out one, try to figure out the other. Once we understand how life works, cause and effect and cycles, we realize we have become products of and are continuing to live through our life experiences. Once we realize this, we have turned a corner few ever will. 81. Jesus said, "Let him who has grown rich be king, and let him who possesses power renounce it." That blue right there is just, for me, what I scanned back through it. I don't have that one quite figured out yet. I don't have this one unwrapped. I cannot quite figure out how it transitions. So let's read it real quick. "Let him who has grown rich be king, and let him who possesses power renounce it." If this was in the physical world, let him who has grown rich be king. What if you grow rich and you don't want to be king? What if you grow rich and you want to go hide out? So it's like, I don't know, why would that be? You don't have to become king when you grow rich. Okay, so if you play it out in the psyche, you think, well, the king is whoever is in charge of my house, my territory, myself. It would call it my kingdom. Let him who has grown rich be king. That means we would gather up a lot of things that we would be king. And in the spiritual world, we're trying to get rid of things. You don't want to get rich. You want to become poor. We're going to have one. Then we have blessed are those who are poor in spirit. We don't want to be rich in spirit. We want to be poor in spirit. So you look at this and go, I can't unwrap it. I can't quite figure out what it's doing. It doesn't fit in either place. It would most closely fit the physical world, though. Yeah, well, anyway. I don't know what that is. I'll get back to it. 82, Jesus said, "He who is near me is near the fire, and he who is far from me is far from the kingdom." Okay, fire, I need to define that better. It is said 4 times in this document, and there's a number of things going on in the background. I've got other work up on this Abrahamic grid numbering system, and I can see pieces of it here, but the interpretations are not consistent. There's different ones to use. I don't want to try to track it down in here. What's important is to know what that word means. And in looking for a consistent place for it and what we're doing and how this is being taught, that fire is going to represent something, and that is the idea that we're burning for some purity, like a instead of a flood wiping something out and it's pure, a fire is burning something out until it's pure. So if we use fire in that way, remember it's an analog. It's not really about creating a fire and burning up the planet. We know that that's not the case. There's something else going on. We know we have to interpret. Everybody does. How do we interpret it? Maintain consistency. It is something that goes in the psyche. And what does it look like here when we take a look at it? Okay, it says, "He who is near me is near the fire, and he who is far from me is far from the kingdom." So what I've got here for my notes is that Jesus is the higher self, and kingdom is presumably kingdom of God or heaven, nirvana, happy and disconnected. So we live in our own place, but if it's a kingdom of God, it's a good place. At any rate, okay, we move on. Disconnected from our memories and their emotional state. Fire, I don't need to search in this document anymore. Fire is purity or enlightenment. Said 4 times, and I'll not make a big deal of that 4 point right now. Okay, so if we put this together then, if I read it again, "He who is near me is near the fire." Okay, so in this case, Jesus is the higher self on the search that knows what to do. We're the seeking person. Yeah. "He who is near me is near the fire." So the fire is the purity. Whoever is near the seeker, our personality that is looking for the answer, whoever is near that is near to the purity, and who is far from him is far from the kingdom. So obviously fire then is far from the kingdom, near the fire. So they're using kingdom and fire, honestly, is the same thing. "He who is near me is near the fire, and he who is far from me is far from the fire. He who is near me is near the kingdom, and he who is far from me is far from the kingdom." See how they just flip it up right in there? It's like, oh, yeah, kingdom is what that is. Okay, kingdom is presumably kingdom of God or heaven, nirvana, happiness. Okay, yeah, my pure self says, "Who is near me is near enlightenment. Who is far from me is far from the purity." Good enough. I'm going to skip this one. Jesus said the images are manifest to man, but the light in them remains concealed in the image of the light of the Father. He will become manifest, but his image will remain concealed by his light. So this one gets away from standard Christendom sound quite a bit. This one goes into I don't know what realm you call it. Gnostic, I guess. It sounds very Gnostic. The images are manifest to man. Manifest, the life experiences emerge to our conscious experience, but the energy within them, what makes them, what causes them, remains concealed in the image of the light of the Father. Yeah, images are around. I got that one blue. I'll get back to it. Okay, I don't have this one done, so let's go ahead and do it. Jesus said, "When you see your likeness, you rejoice. But when you see your images, which came into being before you, and which neither die nor become manifest, how much you will have to bear." How much you will have to bear. Sounds like that should say, "How much will you have to bear?" Okay. A likeness, you, myself, when I see an image which came into being before me now came into eat. This is something that is in the past. This is a planted seed. When something is planted in my garden, when I see my likeness, I rejoice. When I am in the now, when I am in the moment, that's my likeness. Let me get this one. I am when I'm living in the moment, I'm not a great typist. I am happy. But when I see my image, which came into being before me, that is when I see a cycle, an image, a manifestation, when I see a manifested cycle, from my past. That's when you see your images which came into being before you. When you see a repeat of what happened. When I see a manifested cycle from my past that came into being before me, which it does not die. Remains in place. So it is cycling. Nor become manifest. So this one is different. So it doesn't manifest into the physical world, but it must manifest in the mental world. It must come into your mind. Nor become manifest, how much will you have to bear? Yeah, that's exactly right. Think about it. An image is, you can see that in your mind. Manifest is of the physical. So you're seeing it in your mind or in your memory. But it's not emerging in the physical world. But it's still haunting you. These are the things that we keep in private. We keep them to ourselves. We put on our face by the door. Sorry, Beatles. So this is the stuff you're not experiencing now, but you're dragging with you from the past. Way past. And maybe it's not cycling, but there's something way, way back that's unresolved. How much will you have to bear? It will haunt you. Okay, I'm living in the moment. I'm happy when I see a manifested cycle from my past, which remains in place, but does not but does not what's a better way to put that? It is manifesting mentally. It's just not manifesting in the physical world. It does not manifest. When I see a manifested cycle from my past, boy, but it does not manifest. I got to reword this whole thing. I don't like it. When I'm living in the moment, I'm happy. But when I see a manifested cycle from my past that does not go away, remains in place, but does not manifest in the physical, nor become manifest, how much will you have to bear? It will haunt you. Yeah, good enough. In the moment. Happy. But when you sit and feel haunted, how long will you take that? How much will you bear? You could say that in a number of different ways. How long will you take that? Yeah, okay. How's that sound? All right. Jesus said, when you see your likeness, you rejoice. But when you see your images, which came into being before you, and which neither die nor become manifest, how much will you have to bear? That means when I'm living in the moment, I'm happy. When I see manifested cycle, or I experience manifested cycle, but when I see mentally, right? When I When I remember a manifested cycle from my past. That's not it. When I feel. Yeah, when I feel a manifested cycle from my past. All right, this is going to be fun. I'm looking at that one and I want to change my answer. This is how it grows. There's something weird in here that I haven't seen before. And I'm kind of gathering what it is, and I find precedent for it in Genesis, honestly. Let me take a look at this again. Here's the line right here. When you see your images, which came into being before you. There is a point in time in Genesis where God names everything first in the world, and then man names everything, which to me denotes the idea that there are certain things that are there in place, and then as you grow and develop, you become a product of your experiences, what you name. And that is how that flows. Now, what I'm seeing right here is perhaps that same sort of thing, because it says that came into being before. See your images which came into being before you, and which neither die. There's another one. They don't die. Any qualities we pick up along the way, we can kill. If these can't be killed, what are they? These are qualities we're born with. Our personality traits, sexual orientation, all of those things are going to be in this category. Yeah, see how I messed this one up? That is a teaching, though, that's important, that there are certain things that you arrive with. You can't just look around and say, how come I'm not like everybody else? Nobody's like everybody else. We all come with certain qualities to begin with. Do we sit with those mentally while we don't act them out because because it's not appropriate? This makes it sound like, in the first one, it sounds physical. When we see an image that we like, to me, that's like maybe more in this case, like when we're among people that are our friends, it's a physical world. The people like us, we're good. However, when we're seeing things come up in our minds that are a part of who and what we are, that are maybe not acceptable in the crowd, how long will we tolerate that? We still see this happening in society today. I can't imagine they would have not known it then and that they would have left it out. They're very detailed. Okay, complete makeover. Let's see what we have now. Jesus said, when you see your likeness, you rejoice. But when you see your images, which came into being before you, and which neither die nor become manifest, how much will you have to bear? My notes are, when I am with others, I'm happy. But when I feel the reality that I was born with and had no control over, things that cannot change, but I keep them hidden away, how difficult will it be to carry that burden? So I've modernized the verbiage to say, among our friends we are happy, but when we feel our hidden birth qualities we had no control over, can't change, but we don't express honestly, this will be a burden to carry. Makes sense? You can look at that and say, yeah. I don't know about that interpretation, but I certainly get that I can certainly visualize that experience. I've had that. This is the mental process I go through and continue to go through. I'll go over them again and again, and they continue to, seek and you will find, knock and it will be open. That's it. When you keep doing this, they keep revealing. This is still not complete. I can come back to it and go, oh, I got a better idea. So be aware of that I'm not saying this is fixed. We're trying to find answers in here and look and see if there's something I can use to change my life. That's what I care about. I don't want somebody to preach to me, tell me what to do and wait for. I want to interact with this material because I see that I can. Okay, next, 84. Oh, no, 85, I'm sorry. Jesus said Adam came into being from a great power and a great wealth, but he did not become worthy of you. For had he been worthy, he would not have experienced death. Adam coming into being is us at day 7 point mentioned above. That's the word in Genesis. It starts out at day 7, Adam, Eve, in the Garden of Eden, naked, unashamed, before first sin. That's a point in our life that's at day 7. Adam that's where came from. Adam came into being from a great power and a great wealth. That's us emerging from the background, emerging from the higher awareness, whatever that is back there, the universe. Something's there. I don't know what it is, but I know it's there. We come from it. But he did not become worthy of you. All right. Adam coming into being is us at that day 7 point mentioned above. We emerge from the higher awareness, but don't have the neural connections to know that. We're not aware of it. We cannot mentally experience judging life until we have some memories to work through. Something bigger than us. We were pure, but we became those memories. They are unworthy of our source. Death is spiritual death. We were born alive, but unaware. We lost our connection to higher self as we judged life and became products of those judged physical experiences. So we went from a very unaware, highly spiritual being with no awareness of that into a very physical being that is living through the judgments of life. That higher self is still there, but we now have awareness. We need to use our awareness to get back to it. In this case, it says if we didn't judge life experiences, we would not have become products of those judgments. So I've reworded it. Looks a little long here. What have I got? 85. We all start out pure beings, but cognitively unaware. We learn how to live the life we live from our physical experiences. In that action, we filter the purity through our judgments. If we had not judged and become divided, we would not be living through memories, including, or especially the ones we try to hide and deny. 86. Jesus said the foxes have their holes and the birds have their nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head and rest. In the physical experience, we must all physically rest. Take time away from being awake. Son of Man, that's different than Jesus, isn't it? Son of Man is us when we are the unaware mental products of observing and judging life. We all do this. It's natural. We are on a journey of inward healing. You know what that means? Son of Man, that means we are a son of or a product of what we experience in the world. Men out there or the life out there is what we became products of. We are sons of that at first. That's from being unaware mental products and observing and judging life and fitting into it. We all do this. It's natural. We're on a journey of inward healing. When we are living through life experience, but wish to rise or evolve above that, we cannot take time off from being awake. This is self-observation and is similar to sending many workers to the great harvest above. The spiritual life isn't something we turn on or off. We are creatures of and live through habituation. It's a constant lifestyle. Remember in the Gospel of Philip again, Jesus cleaned out the whole place while others did it only partially. If you are healing and want to live free of the past, there is no on-off switch. It requires diligence. Let's go back and read it again. The foxes have their holes and the birds have their nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head in rest. We need to sleep in our physical experience, but if you're on a path of self-healing, you must stay awake. All right, after all of that, I just thought of something different again. There could be different ways of defining this. I want to cover this one as well because it's right there. What we see is the foxes have their holes and the birds have their nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head in rest. So the Son of Man is all of us before we become Jesus. That is our early self before we go on the now I'm going to go back and recover my life from my early self. So the Son of Man is that early self. You could look at this and say that the foxes and the hole the foxes have their holes and the birds have their nest so that they can sleep and rest. But the Son of Man, who is that early self, has no place to lay his head in rest. Instead of being healing, because the Son of Man is not the one doing the healing. The Son of Man is the one doing the life experience. That means you never get peace. You never find peace. You can't find a place. You don't live with rest. All right, let me wrap that one up properly then. I've got an alternate in here in green and an alternate interpretation down here, 86. I've just gone ahead and did that. I took my time and thought about it before recording again. Okay, so Jesus said the foxes have their holes and the birds have their nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head and rest. So alternate to the original. The physical world provides rest. The foxes would be analogous representations of physical manifestations in life from a non-elevated place or physical place, physical world. We're acting out based on, well, cause and effect. And birds are thoughts as they create the mental structure. You know, a flock of bad birds is a wild imagination, is crazy swimming thoughts tearing us up. But the unaware person can find no peace from his actions and thoughts. So let me read that again. The physical world provides rest. Foxes represent physical manifestations in life from a non-elevated place or physical place. That's how we act out. And birds are our thoughts. But the unaware person can find no peace from his actions and thoughts. The alternate interpretation, the physical world provides a place to rest, but the unaware person can find no peace. Would those both work? If you're on the path of self-healing, you must stay awake. That is also a true statement, but I think that what would fit best with this is the alternate. And this is just growing with the material as you're working through it. It's old stuff. We don't live in their world. We got to try to mentally put ourselves there. 87. Jesus said, wretched is the body that is dependent upon a body, and wretched is the soul that is dependent upon these two. Does that sound familiar? Kind of. The body is the physical. These verses most often start in this manner. Physical comment or question with a spiritual finish. When we judge life and become those judgments at a deep mental level, we are the body dependent on a body. We live through a collective memory and judgment in groups or tribes. In the realm of spiritual freedom, that's sleeping. Wretched is the mind who lives through that. This describes living while asleep or dead, again, unaware of self, and that life experiences started here. My new verbiage, let's see the old one. Jesus said, wretched is the body that is dependent upon a body, and wretched is the soul that is dependent upon these two. I've rephrased that to spiritually unaware and hurt are those who live blindly through their life experiences. Sad are the experiences inside of that person. Okay, I'm going to skip 88 for now. 89. Jesus said, why do you wash the outside of the cup? Do you not realize that he who made the inside is the same who made the outside? Okay, when items or analogs are used in this manner, the cup, right there, this is actually global. Everybody uses it. You're going to be a wheel in Buddha's material, a cup or a clay pot, or a wheel in Lao Tzu's material. All of these are going to use this kind of style right here, where you become the cup. Jesus said, why do you wash the outside of the cup? Do you not realize that he who made the inside is the same one who made the outside? My note, when items are used in this manner, they are analogs for us. I am the cup. We are all the cup. We are the wheel, the house, the clay pot, the vineyard, the temple, the city, the world, the wineskin, etc. It's like a Tao verse. We shape clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside that holds whatever we want. We are the clay pot, shaped by our very life itself. What is inside of it? Here we have the same thing with a twist. Why do we wash the outside? Why do we act one way, but inside we feel another way? Hurt. Why do we live life as a facade for others while feeling hurt inside? The inside creates the outside. Clean it. Seek emptiness. We're looking to be poor in spirit, which is devoid of things that hurt. So, I've changed it from Jesus said, why do you wash the outside of the cup? Do you not realize that he who made the inside is the one who made the outside? To modern verbiage, as within, so without. Our life experience is founded and grounded in our perceptions and emotions of the past. Look inside for your life experience. It manifests from the energy of the stored memories in there. All right, 90. Jesus said, "Come unto me, for my yoke is easy and my lordship is mild, and you will find repose for yourselves." Jesus saying, "Come to me," represents a deeper idea in the psyche. We wish to become what Jesus represents at the level of this interpretation. We're not seeking to become Christian, to become a Christian God or a Muslim prophet or anything like that. If we're referring to Jesus, we're not calling ourselves Jesus. We're not putting ourselves in here and calling ourselves Jesus. What we're doing is saying that Jesus represents a quality that we are trying to follow along with, to understand, to utilize within us. It's something. It's a mental process. Jesus is analogous for the seeking consciousness who has turned inward, heals, and finds the way. Remember, Son of Man? That was before Jesus. That was the person. That was when we were a product of life, global experience. Okay, so this is what we seek in the concept of going there. So that's when we seek Jesus. That's what we want. We want this this idea of healing and resolving things and finding a peaceful life. And once their life is simple and easy, and you can rest or find mental rest. So I put, it said, "Come to me, for my yoke is easy and my lordship is mild." What that means is finding peace by releasing one's inner hurt. That's the concept of what Jesus is holding here, becoming this, I'm let go of things now. Finding peace by releasing one's inner hurt, we find life is simple, easy, and we feel at ease. Remembering now they are living this 2,000 years ago in robes and walking around. They're not living our lifestyle. We have to kind of understand that they've got something else going on. What would a non-simple life be for them? Are we trying to eat, get clothes? What would you be scrambling around doing? Looking for something. Anyway, so this is more kind of describing perhaps a monastic sort of an experience here. We may not be looking for that ourselves, but that's what it's saying here. You find this place and, yep, peace and ease. 91, they said to him, "Tell us who you are so that we may believe in you." And he said to them, "You read the face of the sky and of the earth, but you have not recognized the one who is before you, and you do not know how to read this moment." Okay, the question is they are seeking authority from Jesus in a physical setup for the teaching. Who are you that we should believe you? And in this teaching, it's a secret teaching again. They know how to read the seasons and the weather, he's telling them, the weather patterns and all of that on Earth. But when we shift it here into the psyche to maintain it as an interactive mental process, the one who is before us is our higher awareness. We do not recognize it and don't know we are living in cause and effect. We are existing as products of continual waves of energy. We follow our life experiences. This is a cryptic way of saying we are blind. We are living in cycles and we don't have control of it. We don't know it. We're just along for the ride. Even if we know when the global seasons change, we cannot see the parallel to our spiritual, mental seasons coming and going again. So let's read it again. They said to him, "Tell us who you are that we may believe in you." And he said, "You read the face of the sky and of the earth, but you have not recognized the one who is before you, and you do not know how to read this moment." I reworded that to prove the source. You understand the repeating seasons on the planet, but cannot turn inward to see the repeating seasons of our life experiences. 92, Jesus said, "Seek and you will find. Yet what you asked me about in former times, in which I did not tell you then, now I do desire to tell you, but you do not inquire after it." And I'm going to say desire for this knowledge will allow it to emerge. Seek and you will find. Yeah, we'll cover that in a little bit here too. Once we wanted to get out of our hurt and pain. We didn't know what to do. Now we know what to do. Life has gone by, though. Do we just store it away? Does the inner self seek the knowledge of the path they themselves need to take? We know what to do. Do we have the courage and fortitude to see it to fruition? So I've changed, seek and you will find. Yet what you asked me about in former times, in which I did not tell you then, now I desire to tell you, but you do not inquire after it, I've changed to simply. Seek with righteousness and you will find the answer. We know what to do. Will we do it? How to define righteousness. That is purity. You're seeking, not knowing what's there. If you have a belief in what is there and you're seeking then, that's not seeking with righteousness. You have to seek with an open mind, which means I have no idea where this is leading. I'm just going to try to interpret it and see what happens. All right, this one's a bit fragmentary. I skipped it for now. I'll come back to it another time. 94 is what I'll jump onto. Jesus said, he who seeks will find, and he who knocks will be let in. So there it was. We're covering this again. You see how these are kind of nested together. They're clumped together in similar sounding teachings. He who seeks will find, and he who knocks will be let in. I will tell you this material is all over and it's right in our hands. Doesn't matter whether you're reading Hindu stuff or Jewish stuff or Egyptian stuff or Tibetan, Chinese, it doesn't matter. All of it. The Bible has got it. If we seek it and see what is in there, we will find it. And I do want to say, bear in mind, they did this for their lifetime. It was their media. They thought this through all day long for a lifetime if they didn't have other stories. If we want the inner answer, we grab the verses, turn inward with them, and begin a thought experiment to place the analogs properly in the psyche. We live these verses out in our mind in order to understand them. They have to play out in the mind. We are not spending time like they did. So I've changed, he who seeks will find, and he who knocks will be let into. If you want this, it's already right there. The door is not locked. Let yourself in. 95, Jesus said, if you have money, do not lend it at interest, but give it to one from whom you will not get it back. This is karma. Leave a void to be filled by the cosmos. Here's the idea here. Do not do good deeds or seek a karmic reward. Or do not do good deeds in order to seek a karmic reward. Do your good deeds in secret and never seek a reward. Doing this for that in the spiritual realm isn't the true depth of cause and effect. When we do good and don't seek a reward, we change our flow to be with people who do good and who do not seek a reward. We fit where we are alike. Being good without caveats is the goal. The good eventually emerges. We are changing today for tomorrow's experience. We are in a big flow and need to change course, but we are becoming free from all of the ego and desires to do good for our own sake. That is the reward. Do good for the sake of doing good and leave it right there. The heart will soar and our flow in life will change more. Believe me, good will happen, but you're not looking to trade this for that. You're not looking to... Yeah. Jesus said, if you have money, do not lend it at interest, but give it to one from whom you will not get it back. Yet don't have expectations when you give. Doesn't mean about money. It means about life. 95, my interpretation is do your good deeds in secret and without karmic expectations. What you will find is things happen for you in secret. You look around and not know where it came from. Life will just flow in a different way. 96. Jesus said the kingdom of the Father is like a certain woman. She took a little leaven, concealed it in some dough, and made it into large loaves. Let him who has ears hear. Okay, this is going to be similar to the mustard seed parable. It is the smallest of all seeds, but grows into a large plant, giving protection to birds of the air. The knowledge and the pathway unfolds more and more as we continue on the path. We grow exponentially into the awareness as we study this and live into it. Remember, this comprised to them what we would call media today. They lived through these stories, memorized, and they were largely word of mouth. We don't give them the time they need. These are mentally interactive puzzles, and the more you study them, the easier they become to understand. I got a lot of grammatical errors in here. Sorry about that. Oh, well. You know what? So that ends up the path to enlightenment or mental peace grows large. The kingdom of the Father is like a certain woman. So we're looking for the kingdom of the Father, a certain woman, the seeking person this time, taking a little leaven, conceal it in dough, and that just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It grows and grows. It's a secret teaching. Let him hear who has ears. The path to enlightenment or mental peace grows. So as we're seeking and finding this happening, it's going along and kind of following a pattern. What I'm going to do before I end this video, you can see I'm not finished yet. I'm going to just read a handful of these in order. I'm just going to jump to the red ones. These are my plain language interpretations with nothing else in there. This is claimed or established to be a Jesus line of teaching material. Anyone who interprets these secret sayings will live happily and mentally free. Keep looking. The secret is here. When you learn what to do, it won't feel good to face. But once done, you'll realize it's up to you to gain mastery of your life. It's only understandable as a personal mental journey, one which affects our very quality of life. When you face and embrace what you carry, turning to the memories, you will realize the higher self is what is used to help face and heal them. If you do not face your memories, you will continue to live through them. We need to return to a mental state prior to judging life's experiences. We're seeking a unity between our inner self, our memories, acting out as memories, and our conscious experience, which doesn't like them. That's no longer a unity of being. If we're not happy, we're not in unit. We're not, something's wrong. 5, self-observe. What emerges from you comes from within you, from your memories and perceptions. A quiet mind will experience itself in its stored hurt. We must turn to the hurt to heal it. Bartering for a better life won't do anything to help. Your diet is not important. Watch what comes out of your mouth. Self-observe to know those. Look at yourself with honesty and devoid of ego. Rid the things in life that pull you down. These are clear from our detached self, not feeling the emotions. Observe what emerges. It will not remain hidden away. This is like we are known by our fruits. People show themselves through personality based in perceptions of memories, how we act and how we talk. The judged life experience man takes on win out and control our life. We are cursed when those experiences consume us and come to fruition. Our inner self becomes our outer self. Get rid of the meaningless little things we have gathered along our life and find the higher awareness. Nurture and live through the awareness of that. Life experiences give us many things from our garden that did not produce anything viable for us. Seek to find the truth, and it will continue to grow as much as we do. I have started enlightenment in my mind and remain observing till it's full on. Life changes in stages over time. The unaware are blind, and those who have opened their eyes can't close them. In our days of judging our physical experiences, we became those judgments. Once we learn what to do and to illuminate our fears, will we do it? We started out pure but became divided as time passed by. Now that we know this, what will we do? Righteousness is what we seek, disconnected from what we have stored in our memory, naked, unashamed. These are analogs from the farm in Genesis, analog farms. What is this material? It's self-psychology, guiding us to let go of our hurt experiences, using philosophy to interpret the secret verses and applying them in our own psyche. Learning it at a deep level, we see it destroy our own ignorance. Righteousness or detachment from living through our memories is what we seek, disconnected from what we have stored in memory and learn to recognize the higher being. This is where we originated from. The higher self. I did not come to save you or the world. I have come to burn down my own mental world, for I am internally divided and conflicted. I have awareness inside of this mind and body that no one has ever told you before. You have. I'll have to reword some of these. Sorry. Blessed is the sage who learns to let go of what they have grasped in life. They will experience spiritual freedom. Okay, let me jump down to just way down somewhere midway and grab a few. Inner qualities ask our conscious asking self, what do we do? I need help to get there. Where are you? When we can let go of all the fear and pain and shame and stand over them mentally, stripped of our spiritual garments, or rather our unresolved and hurtful memories and general state of how we view ourselves, we gain control of life. We want to know this, but first time will pass in life before we desire happiness, but will not find it. The preachers and teachers do not know what is nested in here, and so they don't teach it. Be smart and true or righteous, or interactive with the functional teaching as you seek the path. We start pure and mentally innocent, but we lose that. Do not cling to life experiences. I'll jump ahead more. If we can make full-time mental peace with our inner self, life flows easy as we allow it to move along gently and effortlessly with our peaceful self. I'll keep jumping down here. Only a few will understand the secret teaching. It will be revealed to you as you seek it. Do not let the carriers of this material know what you are finding as its real purpose. Rid life's distractions. Resolve the bad and worthless parts. When we work to get back to our early detached from emotional hurt selves, it will cycle in failures along the way. Show your higher self the hidden fears we don't like to look at. That's the basis for our being. And it's also the basis for our healing when we do that, when we're facing the things that we don't like to face. Once the seeker knows what to do, they will pursue their hurt till it hurts no more. They will never feel pure, even if only holding small things. Blessed are you, and you have turned inward to face what you hate. Wherever you face those memories, they will cease to be hurt. I'll jump ahead again. You see that this is just all, you see what's unfolding here? Blessed are those who learn to let go of what they have judged, and blessed are you when you stop judging and nurturing new judgments. Once we understand how life works, cause and effect in cycles, we realize we have become products of and are continuing to live through our life experiences. Once we realize this, we have turned a corner few ever will. Okay, how fun was that? You see a trend. There's people that say you're just, feeding that into it. You're plugging that into it. And I don't know how to, I wish other people would do this. I think that I don't have any ideas about it. I'm just going through it and trying to work it in the mind and think if I was out there and somebody said, here's what I'm telling you to go heal yourself. And they gave me some weird, bizarre stuff like this. And I had to go think it through. I would have to come up with something to help me heal my life. And what I came up with helps me heal my life. I realize that it is true, that I am a product of my life experiences, the way that I've judged them, that there are things about me that I was born with I have no control over. The way that I continue to hold myself in life causes whatever I'm holding on to in some way continue to affect my life, to repeat in some manner. It's not the event itself repeating, but because the event is that there's something else that plays out that is anger and a lashing out that has, qualities and, emotional connection with that sort of stuff. But that just continues to emerge through here. There is, and then the idea, of course, is that that we're living life quality, the quality of our life that we're experiencing is based on the nature of this up here. And that just ignoring this you see what's going on. I need to end this video. It's gotten pretty long. I'll be able to wrap it up on the next one. I've been working on it and you see that there's still, this is kind of a preliminary go through. So it's pretty sloppy and it could still grow. I still look at things and go, boy, that just doesn't sound right. But you find something else and go, you know what? It fits in a better way than I was even thinking. So we're trying to figure out, this is exactly what they would have done. Here's your thing. You go figure it out. No, I think it's this. Then later you go, oh, no, wait a minute. I got it. That's exactly what's happening. And anyway, there's one verse at the end. If anybody has any ideas, it's the one about Jesus, them saying get rid of Mary and Jesus saying, I'm going to take her and make her male so that she's like one of you males and she will live. And it's definitely one of those you look at and go, okay, This is another one that tells us it's not a Jesus block of material. It's somebody that claims to say a Jesus thing, but then you can tell it's not. It doesn't sound like Jesus, does it? I already know that the material contains things that are claimed to be from Jesus that aren't from Jesus, that come from, Aesop's fables and Babylonia and whatnot. So I have no reason to look at this and go, oh, that came from Jesus. You read it and go, that doesn't sound like Jesus at all, and it doesn't maintain the hierarchy in the right way. There's a purity, there's something else going on. But I don't recognize that from other places. So if anybody recognizes that similar kind of a concept from elsewhere, if you put a comment below, I'd appreciate it. I mean, I think I have an interpretation for it. It's a weird one. It's like, why? Yeah, they pulled off something different. That you can see that authors of Gnostic material are using Jesus material, but they're using other stuff. But they're also trying to differentiate how they sound and how they're holding the material. And even though they're going to still be teaching the same thing, they don't want to sound the same way. They want to be different sounding from somebody else. They're creating a religion as a carrier. It's not just this lesson. We're looking for the lesson anyway. Okay, hope this was interesting, and they get kind of long, don't they? Hope to wrap it up on the next one. Let me know if you want me to, at the end, I'm not sure if I should just, like when I get completed with everything, do a read-through of the entire Gospel of Thomas, my interpretation. I have to clean it up more, but it sounds bizarre, doesn't it? You see why people don't like it. I'll see you in the next video.